onto how the Cowboys and the Bengals fix themselves
Oh,
in the
easy,
coming
easy.
season?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much left in college football. I mean, does anybody care about Oklahoma and Baylor? No, no.
Yeah, they're gonna smack them up, dude. There's not a lot of interesting games in the CBF this week, really. Like no one in the top 10 is playing each other really.
It's really
So
that Indiana and Wisconsin game, y'all. That's the one I'd be looking forward to. And BYU and Coastal, baby.
yeah, that
Chanticleers, baby.
that's gonna be a crazy game. But yeah, dude. So hey guys, so we're gonna talk about how some our franchises can get better because clearly we're not fantastic. Um, we're going to start off with how the Cowboys are going to fix the problem down in Dallas, man. Jordan, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because
Oh,
it's your team.
okay. So, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, we all know one thing, and the main reason how the Dallas Cowboys immediately become better. Fire
Yeah.
your GM, get a new GM. Just plain and simple. It's what you
Mhm.
do. This is what all Cowboys fans want. Jerry Jones, own the football team. Don't general manage the football team. It's not the 90s anymore. It's not pre-cap. You can't buy your football team anymore. You actually have to have somebody experienced.
Mhm.
I'd say let Stephen Jones take full control of the reins if you want to keep it in the family. But other than that, new GM. Really, I think that would do a lot of change. I think you'd get somebody experienced who is more accustomed to the trench of where football's going, which is not run game. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice every once in a while, but run game and Ezekiel Elliott at 60 million guaranteed, $90 million contract, $95 million contract just isn't it.
But yeah, Jordan, like what specifically can the Cowboys do to better themselves for next year? Like I'm talking
Well,
like moves.
it's actually, as you mentioned, it is all about the cap.
Yep.
So you have got to make big decisions involving your biggest stars. Are they currently worth the money you paid them? My three big players, and I'm moving outside of Dak Prescott.
Mhm.
I really am. We know what Dak Prescott is. We know what we can get with him. We know we can eventually get there with Dak Prescott's play. I do believe we all know that. Your
Yep.
three players you're really looking at right now are Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence. You just gave
Yep.
them all big money. None of them has showed up. Not so much DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence, and I'll get to him. But Jalen Smith isn't what you think he is. He's a good player. He's not a top linebacker in the league. Solid,
Yeah, it's not Bobby
good.
Wagner.
He's not. I think he was a $54 million contract. He's not
Yeah.
that. Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's starting to show his wear and tear. I don't want to give it to him too much, but I look at it like this. If Zeke is a first round, you could probably get a high second round, maybe even a first round draft pick for him. Jalen Smith, you possibly a first round. You could sell Ezekiel Elliott. You could possibly still sell Ezekiel Elliott for a late first round draft pick, but let's just, for argument's sake, second round pick. Solid
Mhm.
second round pick. Jalen Smith, I think you're probably getting maybe a
Probably a
fourth,
third or
fifth.
fourth.
Could be a third. I think you could sell a third
You could
because
probably
of
get
the
a third.
brand and the story you could sell for him. So right there, and maybe Ezekiel Elliott, even with a second, you could probably throw a fourth or a fifth in there. So right there,
Yeah.
you could pick up maybe 3 or 4 extra picks.
Mhm.
That right there
Yeah.
can fix your football team. You could build linemen. You could get solid defensive players. You could get a good back.
Mhm.
There you
So
go.
sure DeBloom says Zeke has been inconsistent when I've watched him play the Cowboys. And yeah, for the past couple of years he has, but I mean also the offensive line has also been very wishy-washy also. Tyron Smith's always in and out of the lineup. They lost Frederick in the offseason.
Big
Uh
loss.
yeah, big lot. And they didn't have him the year before that because of it was the year before that. He had the blood thing, the anemia.
Nerves. The nerves. It
Yeah,
was
nerves in his neck. He had
nerves
some
in
sort
the neck.
of injury in his neck. So the Cowboys' offensive line was not the same offensive line that they had during Zeke's early part of his career. And over the past few years, it slowly became worse and worse. And honestly, you've seen Zeke get not nearly as productive because of that.
Mhm.
A back needs an offensive line. There's not a lot of backs in the league that can create without an offensive line. I mean, Joe Mixon's done it for 3 years because he's had to for the Bengals. But I mean, Zeke, this is a new thing for him because he came from Ohio State, which was the best offensive line in college football. Goes
Mhm.
straight into the league with the Cowboys, best
With the
offensive line in
best
the
offensive line in
NFL.
football. Yep.
And then over the past couple of years, he's having to adapt to a
Mhm.
lesser talent than a lot of the teams he's facing when it comes to offensive line. So I mean, it makes sense why his decline is evident. And I'm not basically just because of Zeke. It's basically the entire team is just not well ran
Mhm.
when it comes to the front.
Yep. And
That's
then
what I think.
it's then it goes to another argument a lot of people have been saying. You got Mike McCarthy, you got a whole brand new coaching staff. I was actually speaking about this with my wife, and we mentioned about this a little bit earlier. When a new coach comes into a team that's been around for 4 or 5 years, they're not his players. They don't match his scheme. Just like college football, when a new football coach comes into college, you need to wait a few years. You need to wait till
Mhm.
you draft his players. All these players that he has, other than a few, just a handful of actual players like Biotish, like Trayvon Diggs, Robinson, but really, if you're looking at two starters right now, Biotish and Trayvon Diggs are from Mike McCarthy's actual draft that are actually
Yeah.
playing right now, in CD Lamb. Three players. Everybody else is Jason Garrett, Rob Marinelli error. They
Mhm.
don't fit what they need to do. Yes, you keep Kellen Moore in there to keep the offense going, but is it really Kellen Moore's offense? Or is it a lot of Mike McCarthy and then Kellen Moore's the play caller with a little bit of his kind of new age football? So you
Yeah.
kind of got to understand what is that. So a lot of people just said, I say you could just blow it all up.
Yeah.
Just blow it all up, get all the draft picks you can, and in the next year, 2 years, you rebuild a football team. If you want Dak Prescott, your guy, rebuild it this season. Build that new offensive line. Get rid of Zeke. Get rid of Lawrence. Get rid of Jalen Smith. Get rid of Amari Cooper. I know you just signed him to a big deal. Maybe get rid of him. Get draft picks. Get ready for so many years.
Yeah, so Shirt of Balloon says, do you guys have any hope for your teams in let's say the next 3 years? I mean, I know I do. I have Joe Burrow and a very young team, and cap space. We're going to be a I guess competitive team, but also we play in the AFC North, so that's a blood sport of a division. I think we could be in the playoffs in the next 2 years. For you, Jordan, like you're saying, like you want to blow the entire thing up. I don't know, like
You
if it's
can
because
repair
we
in 3 years. You can repair a football team.
oh, for sure, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it in two. Well, honestly, in one if you do it right.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know if I would blow the entire thing up for the Cowboys because we
Yeah.
were just talking about how well of an not organization, how good of a team they were at the beginning of the season. They are very well. They were very well built. They have talent. It's just is the coaching. That's the same problem with the Bengals. We know we have talent. Like we've seen our players go elsewhere, like Carlos Dunlap going to the Seahawks. Next thing you know, he has 5 sacks. Is it coaching? That's the thing. Is the staff getting the best out of the players that they possibly can? Now, I was never a huge McCarthy hiring fan. I think that there are other coaches that like you guys should have went after Matt Rule that went to Carolina. I was a huge believer in him. McCarthy, I've seen what he does, and I've seen um, basically how he gets away from the run a lot. We've talked about this on the channel. Like I don't like how McCarthy always gets away from the run, which was Aaron Rodgers' biggest hit on him in the early part of his career. Like, we would always just end up passing ball like crazy, which you saw in the beginning of the season with Dak Prescott. That's why he had those insane numbers coming off the bat. Um, so with the Cowboys, I wouldn't blow them up for like team wise. You still have good players. Like I think that at this point you should re-sign Dak because it doesn't make sense to draft a quarterback because you're getting worse at a position just for a draft pick. You know what I'm saying? and hopefully he signs for a good contract, like a team friendly contract, because he's going to need help. Clearly,
Exactly. Yeah.
mm-hmm. But
But
for me, like I'm. Go
and
ahead.
I guess when I say blow it up, I mean again we go back to coaching and what the coaching staff wants, and do the players really fit what the coaching needs. If none of these players fit, then you're not going to win a lot of football games. Like it's just plain and simple. So it could actually be better for the Cowboys too. Again, as I say, blow it up. Yeah, there's a lot of good talent. There's a lot of young
Mm-hmm.
talent. That's the other
Yes.
thing. There's a lot of young
Yes.
talent. You may just want to blow up. When I say blow up, get rid of the veterans. Get rid of the guys that are soaking up all your cap space. Rebuild that offensive line. I mean, of course, you're going to want Zach Martin around, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tyron Smith, Lawrence, maybe Zeke, maybe try to renegotiate a contract if you believe in him. It's just so many ways you could blow up a team, not just by getting rid of it, but
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding your cap too.
So if I'm the Cowboys, the first thing I'm doing is getting rid of your defensive coordinator, Nolan,
Yeah.
and Vic Fangio I think he just got fired from Denver, or is going to get fired from Denver. And he is an insanely good defensive coordinator. If you guys can get him on the Cowboys staff, that would be insane, man. I don't know if he runs. I think he can run a 4-3 or a 4-3-3-4 hybrid, but also he needs players for that. I think you guys are a straight up 4-3, right?
Correct.
Like base
Yeah.
defense.
We're straight up 4-3, and we switch out of 3 techniques to 2 techniques.
So
on our line.
I don't know what you do with that.
I don't get. A lot of people have actually knocked on that. Ideally, it's meant for like passing and QB spy, and not letting faster QBs run out of there. It's like a hybrid defense in itself, but it doesn't work. And I've seen it kind of players get away from that as they go on, because they're just like, I've always played in a 3-point, and now you're telling me all of a sudden I need to play in a 2-point. It's different. Like,
I mean, and guys' bodies are not meant for that. Like Carlos Dunlap hated playing outside linebacker. He that wasn't his preferred position, and it felt like his leverage would go away. In the early part of the year, he was playing outside linebacker for the Bengals, and then now he's playing defensive end for the Seahawks. And what do you know? He has 4 sacks and 5 sacks in 4 games, or something to that effect.
Yep.
So having scheme fit and having the coaching to work around that, dude, and try not to force a square peg into a round hole is kind of like what not to do. So, I mean, when it comes to like that, I would get rid of Nolan and try and get Vic Fangio or one of the other defensive coordinators, because, I mean, I believe Nolan was out of the league since like 2013 before this year, right? Or like something to that, something.
I
like
think
that,
he wasn't out of the league, but as a head coach, as a defensive coordinator, he's been out. I think he was the linebackers coach when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. I believe he was still the linebackers coach.
Yeah. So, hey, did you see this online? Sure, doubloon. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Did you see the high school ref get bulldozed by the
dude? That dude's getting
hope.
Jumped. I swear, because he cost his entire team. They won that game, and then they got kicked out of the playoffs. They're out of the playoffs.
That's being selfish. That's being straight up selfish, dude. And which, I mean, I get where emotions come in, because I was an emotional football player too. Like, when I got like a sack, I would go nuts. Or if something happened, it would piss me off. It would be like, you're kind of crazy. But I've never wanted to just go bulldoze a ref like after like a bad call, man.
Yeah, go punch a freaking bench. Go slam your helmet down and throw your baby fit and kick the helmet or something, dude.
Yeah,
do what real football players do.
Oh my God, that's selfish, dude. That's just selfish.
And fun fact about that guy: he was a top defensive player in the state. He was one of the best defensive players in the state. He was last year's, like, I think his district's defensive player of the year last year.
Mhm.
So I don't think he really fell off that much. Usually players previously who are defensive player of the year don't really fall off
Yeah.
that their senior year, so
Yeah.
you're
So,
probably going to that was your last game. Good job, man. Nobody's going to
look,
want to deal with you. Last
I
chance
think
you.
I think he'll go to a JUCO. I think he'll get to a JUCO, and then he might get last chance you it.
It's you.
He
Great
might get
series,
that.
y'all, by the way. I'm just
But
saying.
I love last chance you.